And us too, as African, we need to put away our pride of being like, yo, combative, because we have to, like sometimes I feel like we have to defend ourselves too. You know what I mean? And we have to put our side and be like, all right, accept them and understand that it's because like in some instances they just don't know any better. Like it's hard for them to know any better. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah. It's like you know what it's like.
What?
Like I'm not saying this is the situation, but it's just like the originals versus the replicas. Like it is. Like, it is.
You gonna get a lot of flack for that.
It is what it is.
Is it though? Like,
well, that's where at least the history of as we know.
But you know how messed up it is. If you want to really, really go deep, right? Think about it.
And I'm joking, by the way.
Yeah, I know you're joking, but think about it. You know how bad it is. They have the right to look at us funny because at the end of the day, if our ancestors are not slaves and their ancestors ended up being slaves, who sold them?
Yeah, you know what I
mean?
So you said the right thing here. What he said here is really important because now you flip the script, right?
Exactly.
Like even with the joke I said it's what with what you said makes it make more sense because now you're like, okay, well, why would they have loyalty to you guys? Where it's like, if the history is what we know it as, how did we get here? And it's like,
exactly. If I think deep about it, if I look at it, think about it,
yeah. So you can think like there is
a reasons to not like you.
You can have legitimate reason to believe you're different at least, right? And be like, well, yeah, we're from the same origins, but there was obviously people in charge that wanted to get rid of us.
The resentment would build.
Resentment.
Yeah, but that's not the populace. That's like the
people who were in charge.
So why would you get mad at the?
No, but there was the history. The history is known. Like it's the people in charge, but the history is known that
the history would be known.
The history would be known that there was Africans that collaborated with the white slave owners to sell other Africans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So some would have that opinion, but some would blame the colonizers themselves.
Or maybe we didn't our ancestors didn't get caught, like we dipped or some shit, or whatever the case may be. And
that's true.
It's a resentment. Like it's
on both sides.
Yeah,
there's actually a story that I heard.
Right.
The fallen tribes that lost wars. They were the war prisoners. They're prisoners of war that got sold off to a lot of these colonizers.
Yes.
Because they wanted to get rid of any type of upstarters. Just like when the UK, when it was just Britain, they took a lot of their citizens that were incarcerated and they shipped them off to Australia to basically colonize Australia. So that's almost the equivalent of what they were doing on the African continent.
On the African side.
When they're trying to
even some of the even some places in Brazil, I heard there's places in Brazil and I think Haitian or whatever. They worship the same traditional tribe god as Nigerians. Yoruba, all this stuff.
I've seen this.
There's like
I've seen that. They have traces
streets,
of it.
There's streets with the same. It's the same language, but it's just with a different accent. Basically,
I've seen
prayed
something
the
like
same
this.
way, and it's the same language. It's literally Yoruba. All the I forgot what it's called, but. It's the same. It's actually the same.
Oh, they have this in lots of places, bro. Lots because the slave trade, right?
So
they have people moving around. So they still, some people have kept traditions.
Exactly.
The elders, certain people have kept those traditions. And then after they let that last.
Exactly. But in America, I don't think they played that. It was a prideful like, yo, now you're American. We don't want to hear none of that shit.
American into you, right? Like you got to be American. You're no longer African. You have to be like American.